let me close by just saying this. No, thank you. No problem. Thank you, number one, for hosting me and your patience and waiting for me to get here. And I'm sorry if it sounded like I gave a sermon or a Sunday school lesson more than it did a political update.
What we need.
Why I'm running for office. But I will say this, there is value though in me sharing that stuff, because when you're trying to discern among the candidates, we all sound the same in our bullet points and in our talking points. And I am convinced that the thing that I would ask you to look for in your candidate that you choose is someone who has the right underlying guiding principles. Not just memorizing bullet points, but the right guiding principles. Because I'm someone that believes once I'm elected or someone else is elected to represent me, I shouldn't have to wonder how they're going to come down on every bill that comes along. That person should be consistent enough that you know when the legislation's coming up, well, I know ours won't vote for something like that because it isn't what he stands for. And yet, we've strayed a long way from having representatives that way. Now you have to check the final vote because you never know where your senators and reps are going to end up on issues. So I appreciate it.
Do you have time for one more question?
Oh, yes. Do you have time
Normally, I abstain from asking questions because normally I play moderator. However, you brought up a subject, and I think we need to explore it just briefly. You mentioned it was brought up regarding tax issues, and I know you addressed that. And we know that the Democrats used those issues against Mr. Schuring 2 years ago. For those that are into the partisan aspects of the race, is there anything, rumor or otherwise, that may be used against you should you win the primary? And can you straighten the record out?
Sorry.
For the lack of record.
You'll get it once he starts talking. You'll get it. I find it funny already.
I'm going to put you on the spot because I want to make sure that the air is clear. I don't want anything. Should you be chosen as, and I am speaking because I'm taking off my nonpartisan New American Patriots hat for a moment. I am also a registered Republican. So I want the best candidate no matter what side of the aisle they're on. But I also want to make sure that if there's any issues out there, that we get it straight from the horse's mouth.
Okay, first of all, let me tell you, even the first time I ran, I got a call from our clerk of courts telling me that they had representatives there at the clerk of courts doing all this background research to see if there was any dirt on me they could find. They didn't find it then, they didn't find it the second time, they didn't find it when I was the county commissioner, and as far as I know, I haven't committed anything since then, I don't think of any kind. Let me tell you this, no, the answer is no. If you know something, let me know it, so I can know about it too, because there isn't anything that I'm ashamed of. I guess I've had some disappointments. I was married once before when I was 22, and was divorced, I believe, 2 years later, and if anyone wants to pull the divorce documents, you can. The other candidates already have, so you might as well take a look at it too. Evidently, they didn't find anything juicy, I guess. It was a disillusion. The other thing is, yes, and what they're referring to is we must be doing too well right now, because I'm hearing stories that I was fired from my job at ODOT. Well, there again. You want to come on down? Let's get together, folks, and we'll go down to ODOT and see if we can't figure out when I was fired. Because as far as I know, I've never been fired from any job. The only reason why, at the time I left ODOT, they wanted to make me their communications director, but I wanted to be your county commissioner. And so when I decided to run for county commissioner and then won the primary, I obviously had made my decision, and they tried to they even actually at that time didn't want me to go, so they were trying to see if there was any way I could remain on at least for the rest of the year, but it wasn't going to be pretty for a known Republican to work for the state. So I left there several months before the November election, but otherwise, and maybe this is the way I should answer that, I am happily married, and led a pretty conservative life growing up in Jeromesville, Ohio, and Ashland County. And I've heard other things about the fact that someone has told me that the rumor is around that I was coming home late one night and I was drunk and pulled over, and there was all sorts of accusations of things that were going on at that time. Go look it up. if there's a record, I'd like to see that one too. You know? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've heard that I caused my accident the last time intentionally to try to get the sympathy vote.
Yeah.
It was so. And that one came from one of our prominent local Republicans that is sure that I staged that. Well, I appreciate her ability to think that I am so in control that I can dodge all the trees in just the right way to get my leg crushed in 50 pieces, but not get my life destroyed.
Yeah.
You know, so maybe I
Did a
have
good
power
job.
that I don't know. You know, maybe I have influence.
Next time you do that, you
Yes.
might want to do it after you make it to the post
Yes.
office. You know?
Yes.
Get the mailing
Yes.
in and then.
Exactly. Some of those things, though, and I know everyone's probably sitting around this table, and you've probably heard some of them. And some of them, I just quite frankly am not going to dignify. Certainly not going to dignify because they just are so absurd. And all the rest of them, check it out. Go do your homework. To me, it's very telling. It's very telling that the people that do have things to be researched and looked up, and files and paperwork and cases, they don't seem to think those are important at all, or those should be a factor at all. But us that don't have anything you can go look up, well, then we've got to come up with something. So, whatever. It goes with politics, and I learned that a long time ago. So, like I said, if you find out anything about me, you can call and ask, no matter how personal or uncomfortable it might be for you to ask the question, because I'll be glad to answer. And
when you run for president, were you born here?
yes, I was. You know what? I didn't even think about that. I have a copy of my birth certificate. I may start carrying it with me and start my speech like that. I may start starting. That would be a great way for me to start my
And
talk.
maybe some of the publications you did while you were
Yes.
in Ashford.
Yes.
You know.